Media companies still reeling from last month's landmark ruling, which found two of the largest social media creators negligent when designing their platforms. That jury finding Meta and Google not only addictive, but deliberately designed to be so. TikTok and Snapchat settling with the plaintiff ahead of the trial. Google and Meta saying that they will be appealing this case. But even if the case is overturned, the damage may already be done, with many legal experts saying this is social media's big tobacco moment. That is of course where major tobacco companies were accused of hiding information about the harmful effects of cigarettes. Now, the companies ultimately settled that case, but strict tobacco regulations still followed. There are thousands of other lawsuits being filed by teens, by families, schools, and states, and now they all have a blueprint of how to win. The man behind that blueprint is joining us live now, attorney and part-time preacher Mark Lanier. Mark, it is so good to see you. Thank you for joining us today, and so many people watching this case that you helped spearhead here. Do you agree? Do you think that this is the big tobacco moment for these tech giants?
Natasha, I think it may very well be. It's interesting that inside the documents themselves, within Meta, for example, we saw in the documents of the company employees who were worried that the big tobacco moment would come. And that was their language, that people are going to see us as the tobacco companies once the truth gets out.
What is the truth that you feel that is finally out now?
These companies targeted young children. They knew that they had features that would addict those children. It would enrich the companies, even though it would hurt the children. They targeted the children and made the deliberate choice to profit off of them.
And we know the families of the victims spoke outside of the courthouse after the verdict. They are demanding action from D.C. now. Let's take a listen to what they had to say.
This was a conscious decision that they made. It was not an accident. And parents are not to blame. That's for sure. They knew the harm, right? They knew the damage. They assessed the risk, and they moved forward anyway. We don't want any more of them shielding big tech. Enough is enough. We want them to do their jobs and keep American families safe. And I think what we found right now is big tech is predator number one right now in this world.
Wow. I mean, what role do you think the government needs to play now to mitigate the damage that you successfully argued?
I think the government needs to repeal Section 230. Section 230 gives a get out of jail free card to all of these companies for any content that they put on there. They can have self-harm videos, they can have sexual exploitation, they can have all sorts of things happening to teenagers and preteens, content that goes straight at them, and we're not allowed to sue over the content. We won by going around the content and looking at features. The content itself is protected, and that needs to stop.
Something many people in the courtroom have talked about is the use of props, the show and tell type of argument here. Can you talk about an example of one that you thought was particularly effective, why you started doing this, and what role you feel this plays?
Natasha, one of the hardest things is to take a complicated set of facts or science and make it something that's on a low shelf for everybody to be able to grab hold of it. So we did things. We would bring in a seesaw teeter-totter model, for example, to explain how the brain equilibrium works between pleasure and pain to show the cycle of addiction that works. I used M&Ms to show how selectively the company was cherry picking or red M&M picking certain medical records to leave the impression the entire bowl was full of nothing but red M&Ms, when in fact there are very few that are red. They just cherry picked them out. There are all sorts of ways that you can illustrate a truth as well as say a truth.
And I know you're a preacher, you're a family man. We see, these powerful images of these mothers, these families holding the photos of their deceased teenagers and children, just filled with purpose, turning their pain into purpose. How personal was this case for you?
This case is extremely personal to me. Every morning I would walk into the courthouse and I would see these parents. It was a chance to stop and talk to them, to hear their stories, to pray with them, to find out exactly what happened to their children, and to know that when we were in there for something even beyond the immediate case we were trying.
Thank you for watching. Subscribe below and download our NewsNation app right now on your phone, and you will get fact-based, unbiased news for all Americans.